sing and I'm gonna sing until the world. I'm gonna sing down under the water until the world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing until the world. I'm gonna sing down under the water until the world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing until the world. I'm gonna sing down under the water until the world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing until the world. I'm gonna sing down under the water until the world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing until the world. I'm gonna sing down under the water until the world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing.
Welcome everybody to Cousins Gymnasium, Pie Court on the campus of Tufts University, Medford, Massachusetts, where we're here to witness the last regular season game for your Tufts women's volleyball team. They will be playing on a NESCAC matchup against the Bowdoin Polar Bears with some very important NESCAC tournament implications at stake. Welcome everybody to this production brought to you by JumboCast. My name is Andrew Howe, and I'm joined today by Jake Flossie for, the last regular season game for the Jumbos. They will be playing in the NESCAC tournament next week, Jake, but it's going to be very important after that win against Conn College yesterday to continue that momentum heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, as you said, big win last night against Conn College for the Jumbos. Straight sets, pretty dominant performance. They'll be hoping to continue that momentum forward into this game. They're facing a Bowdoin team that's had a bit of a slide in NESCAC form in the last couple of games. They've lost their last 3 NESCAC games, while the Jumbos on the opposite side have won their last 3 NESCAC games and are definitely have some momentum coming in this game. Should be an interesting one today. Andrew, you mentioned the NESCAC implications of this game. Can you break those down for us?
Yeah, so Bowdoin, of course, sitting at 3-6 in the NESCAC, and the Jumbos right now are at 5-4. And right above them in the standings are 3 teams in Middlebury, Colby, and Trinity, all sitting at 6 wins at the moment. So depending on how things go, of course, you have Middlebury and Trinity playing each other, I believe, today, and then Colby off against Amherst. If 2 of those teams lose today and Tufts win, that'll send them into the 3rd seed for the NESCAC tournament, which will mean that they host a playoff game on Sunday and avoid having to play a play-in game falling into the lower bracket. So very important for them, for the Jumbos, to come away with a win today, and also to maybe, get a little bit of a higher seeding, maybe have some luck on their side as well.
as you mentioned, the NESCAC tournament looks a little bit different this year. Due to the regular season not being fully completed, we are having all 11 teams participate this year, and that means every team will get a chance to fight for the NESCAC title. There's be more playing games going on, I believe 3 playing games. But before we get into that, we have the national anthem.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Tufts Chicken on campus of Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts, for today's Division III volleyball contest between the Polar Bears of Bowdoin College and your Tufts University Jumbos. Fans, at this time, if you please rise, remove your caps, and place a flag to the flag of the national anthem. Now let's begin starting lineups. First for the Polar Bears. Sophomore right side.
We get ready for this game to begin. Jake, let's talk a little bit about the Bowdoins and up and down season so far. They've won their last 3 games, but they've lost their last 3 NESCAC games. And when you take a look at how their offense likes to function, one name specifically stands out in terms of their players, and that is their freshman outside hitter, Sky Lemondolo.
Definitely, yeah, she has been an incredible player for the Polar Bears this season. She's on 288 kills in the season. The graphic on the screen says 274. That was before, or sorry, 267. That was before the game last night. But she had another 21 kills last night against Brandeis, continuing this impressive form. She averages 4 kills per set and represents a third of the team's total kills. Really an impressive player for the Polar Bears.
And the most impressive thing, Jake, playing at a 5'7" stature, which is not something you necessarily see out of an outside hitter in the NESCAC who's able to put up such consistent numbers. And the biggest thing as well, not only are the kills very high up there, leading the league right now in both kills and total attempts, that hitting percentage is around 260, which is a very solid clip for an outside hitter. And
as you mentioned, for those amount of attempts, she's on, I believe, over 750 attempts, and to be able to hit .26 on that many attempts is really impressive for an outside hitter. She's really been a star player for the Polar Bears as they almost exclusively run their offense through her. She has twice the amount of attempts as anyone else on our team, twice the amount of kills, really someone they rely on for a majority of their offensive production. So a key for the Jumbos today is to shut her down.
Yeah, we saw yesterday the Jumbos had a brilliant performance at the front of the net. Blockers like Riley Farragher and Cora Cunningham each coming away with huge games in terms of the block department. And now in a situation like Bowdoin, they'll be running a 5-1 most likely with Ella Haugen serving as their lone setter. With the limited hitting options as there already are, combined with the fact that there's a primary person that they like to send their offense through, the Jumbos have a very good opportunity to really put up another solid performance at the net.
And Lamondola plays on that outside, so the Jumbos are looking for their right-sided hitters, Emma Heckman and Riley Farragher, to really put up the block there, and they're some of the Jumbos' best blockers, so that's definitely a positive sign for them. On the offensive side for the Jumbos, they'll be really looking for said hitters, Heckman and Farragher, to really get going in this game, along with Tori Golden. Claire Castor, the outside The freshman outside got 12 kills last night against Con College, and we hope to continue that form as well.
Take a look at the starting lineups. A lot of the same here for the Jumbos. We have Golden, Chi, and Farragher in that front row. And in the back is Castor. You will be back to serve to start off, and Cora Cunningham will be subbing out for the libero and Megan Harrison. On the other side, for the Polar Bears, we see Maya White, who has had an exceptional year as the libero for the Polar Bears, subbing into that back row, combined with Haugen, Campo, Mittler, Janice, Lange, and Lamendola.
Just to point out one thing about White, she has recently surpassed 1,000 career digs for the Polar Bears. Truly an impressive player for them, someone that they'll really focus their defensive efforts through.
Maddie Yu is back to serve. We're getting set for the first game, or sorry, the final game, I should say, of the Tufts regular season. Of course, both of these teams had a bit of tumultuous campaigns. It's both sitting around 500, wanting to end their season with a win. Here we go from Cousins. First pass of the game is immediately to Lamendola, and she and Farragher were right there to meet her.
So we highlighted Lamendola in the pregame that she is a player that the Polar Bears almost exclusively go through, and we talked about that jumbo block with Farragher and Chi at the front line. Immediately, they're able to get a block on her and win the point for the Jumbos.
Bit of a miscommunication there. It's a free ball here for Tufts. They go right to the middle. Alina Chi sends it to the floor, and it's 2-0 early in this first set.
And that's a play the Jumbos love to run. The quick one to the middle from Maddie Yu to Alina Chi. It's a play that works really well because she has great reactions, and Yu always places it in a perfect spot for her.
Attack on that slide was Lange going for that swing. Chi sends it over again, but it lands out of bounds. Wasn't able to finesse it onto the floor within play.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We talked about Alina Chi and Maddie Yu having that chemistry to run the quicks, but in that time the ball's a little bit behind Chi, so she, as she reaches for it, unable to get the contact she wants, has to result in a tip, which does not land in bounds.
Lamendola has rotated her way to the front row. Will make it easier for her to get some solid swings off as the libero, Maya White, back to serve with 18 service aces on the season. Yu's got to run to collect that one, and Harrison's just going to bump it over. Been running that slide attack on those middle blockers. Farragher with a back row gets another kill for the Jumbos.
Yeah, we saw, as you mentioned, the Polar Bears trying to run a slide attack there to Campo, the freshman middle blocker for them. And she's been a force at the net for them. She's on 19 blocks in the season, along with 73 kills of her own. Someone that the Polar Bears will look to in some more tricky situations like the slide.
Campo has had 4 blocks in each of her last 2 games. Has been a big factor in the offense so far. Lamendola gets a swing down the middle. A nice dig by Yu and Harrison to try to keep it alive. But Farragher lost her footing trying to get that ball over, and it's now 3-2 in favor of Tufts.
That is unlucky for Farragher there. When you let your hand get a bit limp, it's much harder to get the power that you want there. And we saw Farragher's hand didn't quite have the firmness she needs in order to get the power behind it to hit it over the net. Unable to get it over.
Diaz Anna Ye is back to serve. Bowdoin will rotate a lot of defensive specialists back into that back row for their pin hitters as they rotate around. We saw Cami Lindsay enter the game a little bit earlier. She is still back there, so a very strong defensive setup for Bowdoin right now. Yu quickly to Farragher. It's a nice block up front by Campo. Castor on the cross shot, but it lands right out of bounds. The line judge will rule it in on the line. It looked like it was initially going to be called out, but the Jumbos will get the ball back.
That's a really tough hit to pull off. Getting the cross court, the hard angle cross court at that point to keep that ball in bounds is a tough thing to do, but Claire Castor does it excellently, getting it barely in bounds.
There's an overpass there by the Polar Bears, and looks like they called a break into the plane up on the net.
It's a bit unlucky there for Ella Hagen, the senior setter for the Polar Bears. She is 2-time second team in all NESCAC and is currently on over 2,700 career assists. All right, Skyla Mendola back to serve for the Polar Bears. She's also got 13 service aces on the season. So there's some quick issues with the rotation that the down ref is confirming with the sideline judges, but we're good. Lamandola's serve. Received by Castor. Back to Castor. And the Polar Bears are unable to recover from it. A bit of a miscommunication there. It looked like Hagen and Lampao got a bit, or Campau, sorry. It looked like they ran into each other a little bit there. Makes it harder for the setter to get to the ball. Didn't hear a help though, so maybe miscommunication there from the Polar Bear side. As the Jumbo 6-2 rotation continues, Emma Heckman checks in for Riley Farragher, and Rihanna Liu checks in to set in place of Maddie Yu. Rihanna Liu is one of the top servers for the Jumbos this season, I believe leading the team with service aces.
And in this 6-2, looks like that'll be the position. It's interesting how the Jumbos have really locked down their standard 6-2 rotation after really experimenting with a lot of pieces at the start of the year.
Yeah, we saw players like Zoe Gregory check in a lot, but it seems like Rihanna Liu has taken that setting spot.
Nice dig by Golden. Heckman's going to be able to keep it alive. Goldman with another swing and not going to be able to find the floor as it's picked up by Ye. And I believe that was Lamandola once again coming through.
And I believe that is the first kill of the game for her. Someone that, as we mentioned, the Jumbos are really focusing on to block, and the Polar Bears almost only rely on it. And see, even she's in the back row right now, they're running the backcourt hits to her.
Campau back to serve. That's going to be a service error for her. Has not recorded an ace on the season, but obviously as a middle, not necessarily her specialty. You're going to be looking for other really, really cool things, like how the fact that she's had a bunch of really solid games as of late. 37 kills across her last 4 games. We go over to Mittler, who's entered the game. Castor able to dive and keep it alive, but lose last-ditch effort, unable to get it over the net. As Bowdoin will answer right back. Score now 7-5 in favor of Tufts. Ella Haugen back to serve. And a good call by Harrison and Castor as that ball sails out of bounds. Service error. Okay, for Haugen.
Haugen's on 29 service aces in the season. Someone that I believe leading the team in service aces, but in this case, she makes it 18 service errors. Unfortunate for her.
Talk about service aces from the middle. Cora Cunningham coming up with one. She's been very good behind the line and over the last couple of years, and has been the middle that they've turned to make these serves happen.
As you mentioned, in a 6-2 with a libero, only one middle serves, and the Jumbos choose to have Cora Cunningham be that server due to her prowess behind the line.
Heckman, a nice tip shot, finding the open area right across from where she originally hit the ball. It's 10-5 now. Tufts running away with this one a little bit. And
that's Heckman's 161st kill of the season. Really great start to her career as a Jumbo. She's got herself settled in there as that starting right side, swapping with Riley Farragher.
Haugen, I believe, called for a net violation, just running a little bit too close there.
That's what it looked like to me. It was hard to exactly tell, as the Polar Bears take a understandable timeout in this case. They haven't really been able to get in this game yet. Lamandola has been relatively quiet, by her standards at least, and the Polar Bears don't necessarily have another player they can rely on for the offensive production to the level that they have from Lamandola. They do have, I believe, Lang, who is not been in yet due to the rotation, who's got 93 kills in the season. They've got Janice, the right side, who's been on 110, but no one near the level of Lamandola.
I mean, just in terms of pure volume as well, right? And it seems like Lamandola hasn't been open enough to really get a lot of quality swings so far in this game. When she has had the opportunities to, it's looked very good, but I think the big problem is making sure you're facilitating the defense and the offense in the right way to make sure that the Tufts defenders aren't always just there to block her at the net.
And the serve receives from the Polar Bears haven't been quite up to notch. in this start of the game. They haven't been able to get great sets or great passes to their setter. Haugen's been running all over the court to try to keep the ball up. And it's not a good recipe for good sets, for good kills, if your setter is struggling to get to the ball in the first place. So the Polar Bears will really be hoping to get a good serve receive here, looking for Maya White or even La Mandola from the defense as well.
Cunningham still back to serve. See if Bowdoin can rebound off the timeout. Looks like not going to happen just yet as Cora Cunningham picks up her second service ace of this first set.
And that's another serve receive error from the Polar Bears. We just talked about it. They need to get that fixed if they want to have a chance to go toe-to-toe with this Jumbo side.
Haugen able to go over to Lang. Now Heckman gets a swing from the right side, but it just sails out of bounds. But it was tipped by the hands of a blocker at the net, meaning that Tufts and Emma Heckman find herself another kill.
Yeah, that was a slightly better pass, but still not a great opportunity for Haugen to really find anyone aside from Lang at the front line. That's one of the issues of a 5-1. She really only has two options.
An acrobatic shot, but you can see, Jake, Bowdoin not really in rotation right now as Heckman's tip shot finding another kill for the Jumbos.
And when a team is out of rotation, the tip is an excellent weapon. She finds the hole in the middle of the court as Bowdoin's trying to figure out where they're supposed to be and places it perfectly. Really smart play from Emma Heckman there.
So the timeout did not do too much as Cora Cunningham continues her excellent service run. They go to Mittler down the line, and it was tipped by Cunningham, so Bowdoin will finally get back on the board.
And it's rare, honestly, for your big service run to be with a middle, because that means the middle is playing defense. It means Meg Harrison is not in to play defense. But Cunningham, excellent play from her to keep that going as long as it did.
Right back to Heckman on the tip. It was dug out by Janice. La Mandola's shot finds the kill.
Yeah. Another kill for La Mandola, player that the Polar Bears rely on, as we mentioned. It's good to see her getting more into this game.
Quick attack to Chi, trying to find an open spot, but it was recovered by Mittler. Free ball now. Liu this time goes to Golden. It was partially blocked, but they're going to rule a violation at the net, and the Jumbos extend their lead to 8.
That's really unlucky for the Polar Bears. They had some great hustle early in the play to keep the play alive, but a net violation is just a rough way to lose a point. We see now Maddie Yu and Farragher checking in. At some point, the Jumbos had elected to have Emma Heckman remain in to serve. That way she could attack from the backcourt and have Rihanna Liu do one rotation in the front row. But in this case, they're choosing to put Maddie Yu, a more trustworthy server, as she has lots of experience behind the line.
Yeah, entering yesterday's game, Yu 24 service aces, 23 errors, so a pretty consistent mark, and I believe had another one in the game against Conn College yesterday. A lot of really solid servers entering in both, Castor and Rihanna Liu. Maddie Yu, who used to be one of the team's best servers, is now, just another very solid piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Castor and Rihanna Liu have been real revelations behind the serving line for the Jumbos, the freshmen who have 35 service aces for Claire Castor, Liu's on 26 as well. Impressive numbers from the freshman.
La Mandola with a strong swing from the left side. That cross shot might be the strategy with Farragher at the front.
That was a lethal hit there from La Mandola, showing why she is the most lethal, the player with the most kills in the NESCAC. Impressive stuff from the freshman.
And a mishandle on that serve receive from Tori Golden means that another ace is picked up by Maya White.
Yeah, this is the chance for the Polar Bears to really salvage something out of this set. If they can get back in here, it's not lost, but if they allow a few more points, it's really hard to see them coming back.
Another strong serve from White Harrison, mishandling that one, and all of a sudden, back to a relatively close game. Polar Bears find themselves within 5.
That's a rare misplay from Meg Harrison there. The serve was a bit to her right. She tried to reach out and get it. Didn't have enough time to really position herself well for it. Really powerful serve there from Maya White.
Golden this time able to receive it, but Harrison sends a pass up back to Golden. It's partially blocked. Yu goes to save it, and Farragher will send it over on the cross. They go right down the middle, but Campo is now marked by Alina Chi, and Bowdoin is unable to get that ball back over the net in time, and so the Jumbos will answer.
So they're going to call a double hit there as both Haugen and Lindsay from the Polar Bears tried to go for it. An impressive solo block there from Lena Chi, going up against Kim Pao by herself and able to keep it down.
As that serve sails over the back line. Alina Chi, very, very solid season as a junior. This is the first year that she's gotten significant playing time, as Grace Legree and Cora Cunningham took up those spots for a long period of time, but really making the most out of it. Now leading the team in blocks and has had some very solid games down the middle. DS Anaye back to serve. Another strong defensive setup here for the Polar Bears. Quick attack right to Chi.
And Chi, alongside being a defensive weapon, is also an attacking threat. That is a great kill from her, spotting the seam between the blocks and sliding it right in between them. Really hard to respond to if you're a Polar Bears team unless you close that block a little bit more.
Yeah, that high-tempo attack down the middle is something that the Jumbos love to run. Whatever middle blocker they end up having on the floor, La Mendola sends it down. You can see, despite her 5'7" height, able to get up so up high above the net to slam it down.
She's got impressive hops. And really, to highlight there, Ella Hagen got a pretty bad pass. It was up against the net, still manages to avoid touching the net and get a great set out to La Mendola. Excellent play from the veteran setter for the Polar Bears.
Haugen, great on all ends of the court. Has had multiple double-doubles this season. Farragher goes for the swing. The Jumbo's going to get called for a net violation.
Yeah, I talked about Haugen managing to stay out of the net. When doing it, Mata to you, a little bit less lucky there. It's really hard to do with the one-handed set as you're kind of stepping backward. Tough play there for the Jumbos.
Caster from that left side, partially blocked. She's able to keep it up and send another shot a little bit over the blocker's hands and unable to be recovered here by the back line.
Yeah, in that case, La Mendola might have been a bit better off trying to use both arms. The one-armed play to keep it up can work well, but she was a bit too high. Thus, the ball went straight down instead of popping up as she would have wanted it to. Claire Caster getting 2 tries. Second time works perfectly for her.
Jumbos have rotated back around. Liu is back to serve, and we see Heckman back into the game in that front row.
It seems the down judge has had some issues with the scorer's table a few times now. Hopefully everything is all right down there.
It is a busy day of Tufts athletics here.
It is.
Jake. We have the men's soccer quarterfinals happening on Bello. Field hockey playing a NESCAC matchup as well against Amherst over at Engine. So a big day here for Tufts, and so making sure that all the resources are distributed as best as they can today. Caster's swing, a diving Lemendola cannot stop it, and Claire Caster has herself 2 straight kills.
It's a great hit from Claire Caster, sliding in perfectly as the Polar Bears take a well-needed timeout. They have managed to get themselves back into this game, but it's still a pretty large margin. For those of you following the other games today, I believe the Jumbos are up 2-0 against Bowdoin out on Bello in men's soccer, and the Jumbos women's soccer team is down 3-1 at Amherst. Game's about to end, so likely a win for Amherst. Buffaloes out there, or sorry, Mammoths out there in Western Mass. But going back to this game, we've seen the Bowdoin Polar Bears, their serve receive has gotten better. They look like they have some chances, and La Mendola's gotten more involved in the game than she was in the first little part of it. But still, the Jumbos seem to have a little bit more lethality at that front line, with players like Claire Caster getting involved, players like Alina Chi. We haven't seen as much from the right sides yet. That'd be something that the Jumbos would hope to improve on. But overall, looking pretty solid for the Jumbos so far.
The offense has generally worked pretty well right so far for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. They're hitting just shy under 300 in this first set off of 17 swings, which is definitely not bad, especially considering you have La Mendola with 4 kills, 1 error on 6 attempts. You have Mittler with 2 kills as well. The difference is Tufts is hitting even better right now. They're hitting around 450 in the big leaders right now. Claire Caster, 4 kills on 5 swings. Heckman with 3 kills on 4.
Yeah, I think part of the reason just feels is Heckman's hasn't been swinging as much. She's been tipping. She's been placing it over well. So she's got the kill numbers, but hasn't necessarily had that powerful swing we expect from her. Just choosing to opt for a smarter option sometimes.
Freshman doing wonders for the Jumbos so far here in this first set. Mittler, strong swing on the cross. And Bowdoin's not out of this one just yet, answering beautifully after the timeout.
It's an excellent play from Mina Mittler there, the sophomore from California. She's had a good season so far. Really worked herself into the lineup. 94 kills this season, along with 8 service aces. Strong player for the Polar Bears.
Kastler on the tip. Nice job by the middle blocker and Campout to keep that ball alive, but the Jumbo front line not going to have any of that.
That is nasty from Claire Kastler up in the net. The whole Polar Bears team expects her to block it down. She slides it a bit to the right. Really very challenging to deal with as a defensive player when the ball is so unpredictable in the net.
So Bowdoin and Tufts trading points back and forth after the timeout. They have Claire Castor, one of their best servers, here to try to send them to the 20-point mark. Haugen able to keep it up. Back row attack from La Mendola is blocked by Cunningham. Miller went up and wasn't able to bring the ball back down, and so the Jumbos taking a 6-point lead.
That's a tough play for an outside hitter to make when the ball is set so far out. Miller trying to get a hard angle cross-court shot, but unable to really get behind it.
Haugen once again with La Mendola in that back row. That's kind of the biggest shot that she can take in this rotation. Now a free opportunity. Liu will go to Cunningham on that slide in the right area. Golden will send it back down off the overpass.
Yeah, the Polar Bears will be asking for a play violation there, as Haugen might have thought she could have gotten to it, but no call there as Golden reads that excellently.
Left, right, and center. Jumbo's offense is going. La Mendola once again from behind that 10-foot line finds the net. This is a very tough rotation, Jake, for the Polar Bears to be in this late into the set.
Yeah, we can see Haugen doesn't quite feel comfortable setting Mittler and laying that often. Really opting to go for La Mendola as much as she can, sometimes in situations where it's probably not that possible.
Yeah, on the serve receive, has it go a little bit wide, and so another free opportunity here for the Jumbos. Setter jump by Rihanna Liu. We've seen that a ton this season, and it brings the Jumbos to set point.
Yeah, Rihanna Liu has 26 kills this season as a setter, and that says something about how potent her setter dump is. She's really smart with how she applies it, and in that case, works perfectly.
Castor trying to close out this first set. Mittler from that left side is dug out by Liu. Harrison over to Golden on the right down the line. And a bit of an overpass as Golden sends it back. A long rally here with the Jumbos up 10. And with that double touch, the Jumbos will take this one 25-14.
The second double touch we've seen there where Haugen's called for it and her teammate hasn't really moved out of the way. You wonder if that's just nerves or really what's happening there. That's something they'll need to fix if they want to get back into this game in the second set.
So a very strong first set here for the Jumbos. The Bowdoin offense overall, Jake, has looked very solid, especially with La Mendola in that front row. The problem is when you are, relying so much on one player to do all of the scoring on your team, it makes it a little bit easy to read, and we saw that right there with how the Jumbos were able to play her defensively.
Yeah, and when she's in that backcourt, they don't feel like they have as many options of players to hit, and that's coincides with the rotation where Haugen is in the front row, so there's only 2 other options for hitters. I think they plan it that way, so that way they have a third option in the back row, but it feels like Haugen doesn't necessarily feel as confident setting to those hitters, instead opting to go to La Mendola a lot, to the point where it's somewhat easy to read as a blocker at the Tufts front line.
Yeah, and the outside hitters for Bowdoin so far have been getting a majority of the offensive looks. You have La Mendola with 4 kills across 9 attempts, and Mittler right now does have 3 kills and only 1 error across 7 swings. An area that maybe the Bowdoin Polar Bears can try to use a little bit more is those middle blockers, where Campow and Lane so far combined only have 1 kill across 6 attempts.
That's a stat they'll definitely be hoping to inflate in the second set, as that makes it a lot harder for the Jumbos to read the block if they don't know it's going to go to the outside hitters every time. But with that, we're going to go for a bit of a break. We'll be back for the second set in about a minute.
Back here at Cousins, where the Jumbos are up 1-0 against Bowdoin in their last regular season game. Last game potentially at Cousins Gymnasium this season if they aren't able to come away with the win today. Andrew Howe alongside Jake Flossie here for the call, as Bowdoin will get first serve, and they'll have Ella Haugen back to do the deed. Yu goes over to Golden. Nice dig by Haugen, who now goes up to swing, but it will be the left side going to get the opportunity there. Chi with an opportunity there, and looks like really Janice's shot sails a little bit wide, and Jumbos will pick up the first point of that set.
We've seen a bit of a switch in the Polar Bears offense as Mina Mittler, the outside hitter, is checked out, and Ashley Jasbeck has checked in, the sophomore outside from San Jose. We'll see what she can do, if she can rejuvenate the Bowdoin offense and give more options for setter Ella Haugen.
A really strong swing from Janice.
Speaking of more options, Janice instantly has an impact there. They switched the right side Janice into the middle there on a bit of an X play, a play the Jumbos love to run. And it's really effective when your right side can get a chance to hit against a slightly different set of blockers.
Those were the first two swings from Janice. Maybe something working well for the Polar Bears here in this second set as Alina Chi gets herself onto the board here.
Speaking of things working well, the quick to Alina Chi is something that has been working really well for the Jumbos tonight. Another kill for her. Maddie Yu with some impressive acrobatics. Keep it alive with one hand. Well done to the Jumbos.
Oh, the reception from Jasbeck was pretty good, but there was a bit of a miscommunication between White and Haugen on who was going to get that one.
Yeah, I think they each thought the other was going to get it. Unfortunate for the Polar Bears.
Harrison had a streak of 11 service aces without an error broken yesterday, but start a new one right here today. Golden with a nice dig. Yu goes to that right side, and Farragher is dug out by Haugen. They'll go over to Claire Castor. Violation has been called. It's a double on Maddie Yu.
That is a rare call. Maddie Yu is arguably the best setter in the NESCAC, definitely among the best ones. And to have a double hit called is not something you expect to see from such a powerful setter.
So Bowdoin keeping the second set close early. White is back to serve. First swing over to Castor, and White unable to pick that one up.
Castor has had a great game up until this point. I believe she is now on 6 kills in the set.
And swinging a very high clip as well. Hasn't recorded an error so far, and starting off very well, just like we saw yesterday against Conn College.
For sure, definitely a hot streak for Claire Castor right now.
Jumbo's up 4-2. Lou goes back to serve. Jasbeck on the reception is passed a little bit too far, and Cunningham will send it right back.
And that is such a fun thing to see as a middle blocker. A bad path that pops right up to you. Cunningham, in this case, choosing to just set it straight down. We saw Castor earlier choose to set it a bit to the right. Both times, really smart plays at the net.
Jasbeck serve receive, but once again gets a little bit too close to the net, but Haugen's able to recover it. Golden on that back row is picked up. Haugen everywhere on the court here on this possession. And a nice swing by La Mandola. That's her. Oh, sorry. That was Janice again.
Yeah, Janice has really done a great job of providing more options to Haugen at that right side. But now she's checked off. We see defensive specialist Anna Ye check in. And now Haugen is fulfilling that right side spot. So less options for her, but she does have Skylar Mandola in the front row at the moment.
Claire Castor on the cross, picked up by La Mandola. They go right back to her on that left side, and a nice dig by Rihanna Liu to keep the possession alive. Heckman tries to send it over. Not the easiest shot for a right side, as Tufts will get called for a 4.
Yeah, that is a tough play to get over from that far of an angle to avoid going around the antenna. Unlucky for Emma Heckman there.
Yay is back to serve. Right back to Castor. Partially blocked, and that'll keep the point alive as La Mandola sends it out of bounds.
They ran a bit of a stack there from Bowdoin, but the set was a bit further out. Oh.
Right on the line they call, or maybe
I think they called a touch. Hard to tell there, but, oh, no. Yeah, it's a point. The Jumbos also appear to be confused.
Claire Castor went back to serve. She was ready for that point to go back into their favor. So it looks like
Let's see if the Jumbos can get their rotation fixed. Looks like they have.
So the ruling is another kill here for La Mandola, who's again continued to be a primary force in terms of the offense today. Kastler on the reception, a little bit too close to the net, and Rihanna Liu and is jousted up front, and they're going to call a violation on Bowdoin on that play.
That I don't fully understand that. Neither does the Bowdoin team. That was. It looks. Couldn't quite tell who that was called on.
You can see Haugen both talking to the referee at the net. Just
Coach Erin Katie of Bowdoin also slightly confused by that as well. She has already had 2 NESCAC titles in her 8-year tenure as Bowdoin coach. Very successful for the Polar Bears.
And so now Kastler will get her opportunity to serve. That float really causing trouble here for Bowdoin so far. Cross and for La Mandola is picked up, and Emma Heckman gets on the board from that right side.
That is unlucky for the block from the Polar Bears, as the block goes off of the block hands and then off of the antenna. Smart play from Heckman, though, to spot that and be able to play off the block so efficiently.
It's past Jazbeck with trying to receive those serves. A diving stop by Liu to keep that ball alive. And a spot was found by Heckman once again. Doesn't always need the power to find the kills.
Not at all. She's been placing it really smartly so far this game. I believe she is now on 5 kills in the game, and another play where the Bowdoin defense all looks at each other as to who is supposed to get it.
La Mandola, right past the hands of a diving Kastler, will get herself another kill.
Powerful hit from La Mandola. Not much Kastler could do there. Really well done. And now she's back to serve, which means she's in the back row, Andrew. So they'll be looking for some backcourt attacks from her.
Dennis has not re-entered the game just yet. They have Jazbeck still in that front row. Campow, shot is dug up, and they'll go to Golden. Tries to send it right over, and it finds the line.
Pinpoint accuracy there from the veteran outside hitter for the Jumbos. That is a really tough spot to hit, and all the Bowdoin players thought that was out. I even thought it was out, but when we saw it did land barely in. Really well placed from Tori Golden.
Strong swing right there by Jazbeck. Cora Cunningham with a set, which is not something you always see, but a strong block in the front. Campow playing a factor on that defensively.
Yeah, excellent block there from the Polar Bears as Heckman is finally shut down. She has been able to use that block really effectively, but when the set is so far out from your middle, it's harder to play off of the block.
Liu goes quickly to Chi, and on that quick attack, if the pass isn't really perfect, honestly, it becomes hard for that shot to find the hands.
Yeah, Chi really wanted that to work out, but it just didn't quite with Liu's pass set being a little bit low due to the weaker pass.
And now a mishandled serve by Golden. All of a sudden, this set, is tied up once again. Excellent
serve from the freshman middle blocker, Haley Campow.
And I don't believe she had a service ace entering today's game, so maybe some first here. Oh, no, I apologize. That was service ace number 11 for Campow as the Jumbos get back on the board. Strong rotation there from Emma Heckman as she'll sub off alongside Rihanna Liu. Has become a very, very important part of this tandem on that right side with her and Farragher.
Yeah, we haven't seen Farragher get quite as involved in this game as we often see from her, so Heckman doing so well is a great sign for the Jumbos.
Jazbeck is met by Farragher and Chi. Try again, this time a bit of a different result, but hitting the antenna, the Jumbos will pick that one up.
Yeah, when you get blocked the first time as a hitter, it's really hard to try to go for the same hit again. In that case, Jazbeck tries to slide it around the block, but goes a little bit too far to the left side.
Jazbeck this time finding a lane, but I believe going to the left of the antenna on that swing.
Yeah, and in that case, I think there's not much Jazbeck can do there. She could have tried a hard angle shot, but that's a really tough shot to hit. Just a unlucky set there for Jazbeck.
A slide there from Lang. She's re-entered the game. Back row from La Mandola. Caster with a nice dig. But Chi will be unable to recover that one. And the Polar Bears will keep this one competitive.
And Janice checks back into the game. They'll be hoping that she continues to get involved as much as she did in that first part of the game when she came on. I believe 2 kills in that segment there, providing more options for the senior setter, Ella Haugen.
He will go over to Golden. Partially tipped. They go right back to Jazbek. Tries to get over the hands of the blockers, but landing out of bounds.
And that is how a block can get in your head. We've seen her try multiple different techniques to get around it, and none of them have worked. So one block has resulted in arguably 3 points for the Jumbos. Shows how meaningful a block like that can be.
Haugen goes towards the middle. Janice gets a tip opportunity. And they'll go to the back row for La Mandola. Harrison with a nice dig, keeping that ball alive. Chi sends it down, and it's on the line.
And that time, the quick middle works as they run it perfectly. And Chi, from the middle, you have a lot of options of where to hit. There's a whole court available to you. You aren't necessarily constricted to the cross court or line. In that case, Chi chooses to set it right on the outside line, placing it barely in. That one, of course, same spot, but barely out. Unlucky there for Tori Golden.
You see Becca de Ponce-Pinheiro entering the game for the first time. Played a little bit in that third set against Conn College. Now will be a back row boost defensively to replace Golden.
Yeah, she's a defensive player who's really strong for the Jumbos, and someone Coach Cora Thompson often relies to when a player like Tori Golden's getting a little bit tired.
Quick to Caster on the tip. Nice save by Haugen to keep that one up. La Mandola dug out by de Ponce-Pinheiro. Alina Chi. They'll go right back. Tip shot is recovered by you. Good defense from both teams so far. Riley Farragher's shot also finding the sideline, and the Jumbos will extend their lead to 4.
Yeah, de Ponce-Pinheiro checks in, immediately gives a perfect pass, setting up a good play for the Jumbos. They don't end up getting the point off of that specific play, but a great immediate impact there from the freshman defensive specialist.
It's one thing to be able to pass the ball at all or keep it in the air, and it's another one to set up your setter in such a beautiful way. And having that defensive specialist in de Ponce-Pinheiro definitely helping. She made that look incredibly easy.
It's definitely an overlooked skill of volleyball. Everyone looks at the hitters, the setters, the people who you see more getting on the end of the ball. But in my opinion, passing is harder. And to have a player like de Ponce-Pinheiro or Meg Harrison back to serve, players who can pass the ball so well is definitely a great asset to have in your team.
Harrison back to serve. Haugen goes to the middle and Lang. Cunningham will answer right back. They try Langs again. She's met by Cunningham, who will pick herself up a solo block.
Impressive work from Cora Cunningham at the net. Great play from her. She's been a real staple of this Jumbos team for the last couple of years. And at the start of the season, had some issues getting into the lineup, but now has cemented herself as that starting middle blocker alongside Alina Chi.
Yeah, Cunningham and Chi going well together will be a very scary look for any offense, really, in the NESCAC as they go towards tournament play next week.
For sure. They're definitely a force at that net.
Jumbos find themselves up by 5. Haugen goes over to Janice, and she gets herself back into this one.
An excellent play all around from the Polar Bears. We see a great pass from Jazbek right to Haugen. Haugen does have to move, gives a great set out to the sophomore right side. Janice slams it down with ease. Overall, excellent play from the Polar Bears and really refreshing as they get a service error right afterward. But I was about to say some great signs of life from the Polar Bears, but it really sucks when you're getting some momentum going and then you lose it immediately to a service error. Unlucky for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, Janice, that was her 3rd kill of just this second set. Had a very solid game yesterday against Brandeis where she had 8 kills, just 3 errors on 17 swings. Haugen goes over to Janice again, finding the tip and a nice save by Harrison. de Ponce-Pinheiro with an overhand swing from behind that 10-foot line. And Janice will send it down once again. That's kill number 4 of this second set.
Janice has really done a great job getting herself involved in this game. Unfortunately, they run the 5-1, so they can't have a right side in all the time. She checks out for, I believe, Anna Ye.
And with her back to serve, it means that do have La Mandola back in that front row.
I believe actually they have Haugen in the front row, the setter, which means that they only have 2 options to hit at this point. DePontier Pinheiro checks out the defensive specialist as Tori Golden comes back into the front row for the Jumbos.
Castor back to serve. 3 seniors, 3 freshmen on the floor for the Bows. Haugen goes right to La Mandola, and Harrison cannot stop that.
I don't think anyone can stop that, to be honest, Andrew. Impressive hit there from Skylar Mandola. Now she's back to serve, which again means she's in the back court. So they'll be looking to more creative methods to get her involved still while in the back row.
Already with 20 attempts so far in this game. They go over to Jazbeck. The block is really nice up front by Heckman and Cunningham, and Bowdoin kind of just stood there and watched it fall to the floor.
And we've seen Jazbeck get subbed in to this outside position, but she really struggled against a really strong jumbo block out there. We've seen Farragher get a block on her, and now Heckman adding another one.
And a service ace picked up by Castor. That's, again, something that, or sorry, by Cunningham. That's something I'll be seeing a lot.
Cunningham has had a great serving game so far. I believe 2 or 3 aces in the first set, and there's another one for her now. As an uncharacteristic mistake from a defensive specialist. And interestingly, they appear to be hiding defensive specialist Anna Ye, having her behind Skylar Mandola and Maya White. And a rare decision when your defensive specialists are generally your strongest attacking defensive players, as Cunningham records yet another service ace.
It's a really nice stretch for Cunningham behind the line. That's, again, I believe service ace number 4 on the day so far. So a very, very impressive showing, again, from a middle, which is not something that you always see. Timeout called. Once again, this is the final timeout of the set here for Bowdoin, as they're going to try to right the ship on this one. They're down by 7 with Tufts just 4 points away from taking a commanding 2-0 lead.
And you really feel through the Polar Bears, you have to take this set. You can't let the Jumbos get ahead to that 2-set lead, because it's really hard to claw back a 1-set deficit, but a 2-set deficit is nearly insurmountable. So the Polar Bears will really be hoping that they can get back in this game. They're 7 points behind right now, and it's not looking great, but if they can get La Mandola hitting more, they're currently in their worst rotation, in my opinion, when they have La Mandola in the back row, they have Jonas off the court. They don't have that many attacking options, but they'll really be looking to Jazbeck to get some more powerful hits from that outside.
And Jazbeck has gotten a very solid amount of opportunities, 7 total swings, but hasn't been able to find a single kill, and also has 4 errors. So that hitting percentage is not where it wants to be, at least for right now. We'll see if continuing that opportunity will end up working out. But Jake, it does seem like no matter who's in that position, whether it's Jazbeck or La Mandola or anybody else, the outside hitter position on that left, that's where Haugen feels the most comfortable in sending the ball, and the Jumbos have seemed to crack the code.
And that's natural for a setter. The outside position, a reason why you see most of the hits going there is because it's the easiest to set to. And with Haugen's passes to her not being great, she's had to rely on going to her simplest option quite often.
Yeah, another tough serve receive. This time they go to the middle, and Campow and picks herself up a kill. Right off the timeout, Bowdoin, for the second straight time, has been able to answer back with a point.
And we talk about going to the simplest option. In that case, she goes to arguably the most complicated option, running the slide to Campow on the right side, who does a great kill and hits it into the net.
Campow, of course, as a middle, better in that front row, has, again, been really strong in entering today's game. It was hitting .354 over her last 4 matches with a total of 37 kills. So that's an average of over 9 per game. And so a little bit interesting to not see her get a ton of looks here today.
Yeah, when she has looked quite strong, but I credit that more to the passes being weak rather than the setter not choosing to go to her.
Harrison with a nice dig. They'll send it to Golden on that left side, and it's blocked by Haugen, the setter. Castor on the back row, tips it right over the hands of Lang, but it's going to be all right. Another shot, this time will find the floor for Jazbeck, just hitting that back line. That's her first kill this game.
I think it might have been a call of Claire Castor tipping that as she reached for it, because I mean, I definitely couldn't tell if that was going in. I imagine Caster couldn't tell. Jazbeck gets on the board with a bit of an unorthodox kill, but a kill is a kill.
Golden on the overpass, and Jazbeck's going to send it down again. So 2 straight kills for the outside hitter.
Excellent play from Jazbeck there. She's starting to find her rhythm in this game, and they couldn't have a better time for that as they attempt to claw back from this 5-point deficit.
Caster able to receive that one that time. Another solo block by Lang. Back row attack from Caster. Dug out by Haugen. Another bit of an overpass right there. Bowdoin's going to be able to keep it alive with White. Chi right down the middle. A nice dig once again. Haugen's doing it all on the defensive end of the floor. And Janice is blocked by Golden and Chi.
There's only so much scrappy defense you can play to keep yourself alive when you can't get it over the net. Janice, Haugen, White all making great plays to keep the offense, keep Bowdoin with a chance in this point, but the jumbo block was just too good in the end. Excellent play from Farragher and Chi.
Haugen right down the middle, and that slide from Janice will be recovered by Harrison. Caster sends it over, and it'll be a push shot there by Haugen. Caster gets another opportunity, finding the floor. The Jumbos are at set point.
Caster is playing really smart with her hits. She's going the line hits to the setter, and that means if Haugen is able to receive it, which is a big if because of how hard the hits have been, it means their setter's out and they can't run a good play. Really good tactical understanding of the game there from Claire Caster.
This time Haugen gets an opportunity right to the middle, and Lang and Bowdoin will keep this set alive for a little bit longer.
We've seen the slide play tends to be the primary way that the Polar Bears involve their middle blockers. In that case, Lang getting it. We've seen Kemp Howe do it earlier in the set. It's a play that can sometimes be easily read, but the Jumbos haven't quite been able to get totally on top of it so far.
Jazbeck would have needed an incredible service run to keep this set alive for Bowdoin, but is met with an error. That serve hits the net and falls in their own territory. So the Jumbos coming away with this one 2-0 early. They take the second set 25-18.
Yep, and really up and down game for the Polar Bears. They had some great moments when Jazbeck was hitting, when Lamandola was hitting well, when they ran those slides. They looked good, but they just didn't quite click all the time. The passes weren't always working for them, and just the continuing prominence of the communication errors really costing them there. But the jumbo block was really, I think, the main thing that kept them ahead in this game. They've got a ton of blocks in that set and really frustrated those Bowdoin hitters.
A little more of a competitive set between Tufts and Bowdoin this time around. We'll see if the Jumbos are going to be able to close it in 3 to round out their regular season. We'll be right back after this. back here at Cousins for set number 3 between Tufts and Bowdoin. Jumbo's taking the first 2 in rather convincing fashion, and they're going to try to do the same again here. Andrew Howe and Jake Flossie here on the call with you guys. And Jake, again, with this being the last game of the regular season, some important playoff implications are on the line. If Tufts win this game, they will guarantee themselves that top 5 seed in the conference, regardless of the results from the other teams above them, which means they will avoid that first round play-in and will either play Saturday or Sunday in that quarterfinal.
And as you mentioned, the results around the NESCAC, the Amherst-Colby game is happening later today, but the Middlebury-Trinity game, Middlebury's currently won one set and are at 24 points in the other set, looking to take a 2-0 lead. They have won that second set now at this point, so that's good news if you're a Jumbos fan, because if Middlebury wins and Amherst wins against Colby, the Jumbos find themselves in that 3 seed, a spot they'd love to be going into the NESCAC tournament. And
would guarantee themselves the opportunity to host another game here at Cousins Gymnasium. Miller has entered the game once again for this third set, as Golden will find the first kill for the Jumbos.
Yeah, Golden hasn't really been as prolific from the hitting line as she has been in some games we've seen, but they haven't needed it because Claire Castor has been great as well. I believe Golden is on 3 kills now in this game, but Castor is on 7.
And Alina Cheese got herself another one.
That's Cheese
number
5th.
5
yeah.
for Alina Cheese. So everyone kind of contributing relatively equally. It's a very well-balanced distribution of shots right now for the Jumbos.
Yeah, that's compared to the Bowdoin side where we got La Mandola on 7, no one else above 4.
Alina Cheese met up front by Lauren Lang. That's another solo block for the middle blocker. Entering today's game, Jake, 17 solo blocks for Lauren Lang.
That's some impressive numbers there, and she hasn't really gotten herself as involved in this game as she may have liked, but that's a great way to start doing that into this third set.
Yeah, yesterday against Brandeis, had herself 8 kills on 17 attempts. Farragher on the cross shot, not going to be able to be recovered by White.
That is an excellent example of a great cross-court shot. It's really hard there when it's kind of in between your outside hitter and your libero back there. The hitter is preparing to hit and is thus unable to really get on the end of it, forcing Maya White, the libero, to have to dive for it.
A nice swing right there by Bowdoin. That gets themselves right back into this game. Some substitutions here as we see some new blood for the Polar Bears. Kylie Keating has entered the game and will be back to serve as a DS.
The more interesting sub, in my opinion, though, is Cameron Shelley, the freshman setter, checking in for Ella Haugen. A setting change this late in the game is interesting. I'm curious whether this means they're switching to a 6-2, but Haugen is Shelley's in the front row, so it's likely they're continuing the 5-1, which is a new setter.
Saw something similar yesterday in that third set for Conn College. Shelley has had experience both hitting and setting, regardless, depending on the situation. This time she'll get her hands at a set, and Campout will send it over. Farragher from that right side is partially blocked and sent back. The Ponsier Pinheiro, who's entered the game once again. The back row attack. La Mandola will be able to find that one, and Bowdoin ties this up at 3.
I don't think that will end up being added to La Mandola's kill tally, though, as Farragher did hit the net in that instance. But still impressive play from the freshman hitter.
Keating has 13 services entering today. Almost found herself another one, but Yu was able to keep that one up. But it looks like the block up front just a little bit too strong here this time for Bowdoin.
And that's a great side if you're a Polar Bears fan. They need to be able to stifle those Jumbos hitters, which they have done relatively well this set. We've seen some good blocks from them. They'll be hoping to continue that if they want to get back into this game.
Goes to Claire Castor on that left side. Again, the blocking working very well with Shelley entering the front row. They're going to call another double touch, and Bowdoin has themselves a lead in this third set.
Yeah. Generally, when we see Meg Harrison try to set it, she goes for the pass, as that's her main skill that she has as a libero. But in that case, she goes to the set, and unfortunately gets a double hit.
Shelley, very capable of playing this front row, has 12 blocks, and it's kind of limited playing time so far. Finally, the Jumbos get a kill on the board with Cheese sending it down.
Yeah, Shelley's definitely a versatile player for the Polar Bears, but she only has I believe, 54 assists on the season compared to Haugen's incredible 611. So clearly not a player they generally go to set, but they're throwing anything in the wall at this point to try to get in this game.
Ponce Pinheiro with a nice dig. They'll send it to Cunningham on that quick attack. The tip has the shot land out of bounds, and so the Jumbos, once again, will tie this one up.
You got to respect the hustle from Keating there, coming from the service line, running all the way up to try to catch the tip. Unable to quite get there, but still a great hustle from Kylie Keating.
La Mandola enters the game. Nice dig by you. Keeps that one alive. Setter dump this time here for Shelly. She's got 39 kills on the season. She has picked herself up another one.
Yeah, and that is one of the advantages of that 5-1 system. Your setter can jump up as if she's going to set and then set it over the line. That's not something that a setter like Rihanna Liu or Maddie Yu from the Jumbos can do because they're always in the back row. In that case, it would be a back row hit, a plane violation. So smart usage of her abilities there from Cameron Shelley.
Lily Janice back into the game as La Mandola finds her way in the back row. They'll go right to Janice on the tip and use there to pick that one up. Going over to Castor this time. It's blocked, but Harrison with a great dig to keep the ball alive. They go right to the middle in Campau, but it sails out of bounds, and the Jumbos tie it up again.
It's a rare time that the Polar Bears go for a standard middle hit. In that case, going a little bit too far out. The Jumbos continue their 6-2 rotation. Heckman and Liu checking in.
So a good defensive setup right now with Keating, who has 78 digs on the season, and alongside White and La Mandola. See if he can stop the serve, I should say, of Liu. A cross-court shot. They've been feeding Campau a little bit more, Jake, in this third set, but hasn't found the kills to keep, Bowdoin, at a bigger, lead than they are right now.
Yeah, they actually have now dropped behind Tufts 7-6, and the Polar Bears will be bemoaning the fact that their lead's gone and hoping to get it back now.
Another overpass on the serve receive, but this time it's going to work. The joust is won again by the setter and Shelly.
Shelly's had a great game coming in here now. She's got a kill. She just won a joust at the net, and her setting's been pretty strong from what I've seen. So an interesting change from Coach Aaron Caddy, but it seems to be working for the Polar Bears.
It's interesting because when you look at the game log, you'll see some games where Shelly has a bunch of assists, some games where she's taken 20 swings. So they'll use her in a bunch of different roles. So far, the setter position working well for her so far. Cunningham on a 2-ball will find the floor on a tip, catching Bowdoin's defense off guard.
As Ponce Pinheiro checks out for Tori Golden. We've seen Coach Cora Thompson continually going to that defensive specialist, Ponce Pinheiro, especially I think on these Saturday games when they have a Friday night game before. Tori Golden's been playing a lot, giving her a little bit of a break, allowing her to use more of her offensive weaponry in the front row.
And the Jumbos have a lot of pieces at their disposal, so no harm in trying to maximize efficiency whenever possible. Call violation there. I believe that's another double as Keating tried to pass that ball and wasn't necessarily in the best position to do so.
It's been a large number of double hits this game so far. Not something you generally see in NESCAC volleyball, but it has come up more often than not in this game. Surprising.
We go to the middle, and Lang, she's going to be able to find herself a kill.
I'm liking this middle play from the Polar Bears. They've been using it more and more often. Oh, and Haugen checks into the back row, so they're putting Keating in the front, sorry, not Keating, Shelly in the front row to set, as she's a bit more of an offensive weapon, and then Haugen in the back row. That's an interesting strategy. I think it's a good one, though.
In a way, you keep the 5-1, but still maximizing the amount of hitters that you can have in any given rotation.
Definitely.
Liu goes to Cunningham on that slide. They'll go to Janice once again. Heckman sends it back down, but a nice stop by White. We'll dig that one up. Going to Janice once again. Castor able to find a dig this time. And a nice play from Tori Golden. An even better one from Mariana Liu, making sure that she's able to pass the ball without hitting the net.
Definitely. And we mentioned in the first set that it felt like the Polar Bears were only going to their outside hitters. In the second set, they went to their outside hitters a lot, but they also went to Janice a lot on that right side. This set, they're going to the middles a lot, along with their outside hitters. So we'll see which strategy ends up working best for the Polar Bears.
Castor on that back row, tips the net, and is saved by White. Cunningham with the dig. Go over to Alina Chi. Sent back up by Maya White. Played some good defense late in this third set. Liu once again looking for Golden on the tip. Trying to find a spot. And unable to grab it is Janice. The Jumbos are taking over here in this third set.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tight one so far, but the Jumbos have established a bit more of a lead than we've seen earlier so far. This has been like the Polar Bears' best chance to get into this game, but if the Jumbos continue to pull away with such a powerful server like Cora Cunningham, but they will not be able to.
Yeah, nice response. The middle play here for Lauren Lang working well. That's her 4th kill of this game. Only has gotten 10 attempts so far, and with somebody who's hitting at one of the highest efficiencies on Bowdoin's team, you would expect that you might see more opportunities for her as we try to close this one out.
You talk about those kills. I believe 3 of those 4 kills have happened in this set, as she has really gotten herself much more involved in this game.
Heckman with a strong shot right on the corner as well. Beautifully placed and beautifully executed.
And that is why Emma Heckman is one of the most exciting players in the NESCAC right now. Powerful kill there from the freshman right side. As we've seen her do a lot more tips and a lot more smart placement of the ball, but she shows that she can hit it like a cannon there from the right side. Great play from Emma Heckman.
Jumbos find themselves up by 3. You back to serve. Harrison with a pass to Golden. It's blocked by Mittler, who's re-entered the game. Chi finds the floor. A nice kill from the middle blocker. Bit of an overpass this time by White on the serve receive. And so now a really good opportunity for the Jumbos, but it's mishandled. Harrison and Farragher both tried to get to that ball. And it's some miscommunication between the 2 seniors.
And that's rare between the 2 biggest veterans of this Tufts teams who've played a lot. You expect them to have that narrowed out, but in that case, not quite working out.
Harrison was unable to receive that one cleanly, and the ball hit into the net. Same case for Bowdoin this time. Chi is going to send it down, but they will call a breaking of the plane up there. You said, Jake, earlier that it's so tempting to kind of grab that ball floating in the air. Just a little bit too far for Alina Chi.
Definitely is. That was a pretty messy point from both sides, but she just getting a little bit over-eager, as you mentioned, on a play that is so fun to do. Just doesn't quite work out for her.
You to Farragher on that quick attack. A little bit unlucky off the hands, I believe, of Campau, and then just finding a beautiful spot right in the middle of the court.
The Jumbos love their trick plays. We haven't seen too many of them so far this game, but in this play, running the X, putting Farragher in the middle where she could hit against a slightly different outlook of Polar Bear players, working really well in that case.
Jumbos maintaining a 3-point lead. A back row attack from Lindsay, who serves as a defensive specialist most of the time, and Alina Chi is on fire here in this third set.
She's been having a great game so far on her 8th kill. I believe she's leading the Jumbos now with that kill, passing Heckman and Castor also on 7 kills.
Another timeout called here by Bowdoin's coach Aaron Cady, as time is running out a little bit. They played a much more competitive third set. They even had a lead of 2 or 3 at some point early on, but the Jumbos have been able to bounce back. And again, it goes back to how flexible their offense is. Whenever somebody's feeling hot and ready, one of the setters is going to be able to get the ball to them.
And I think the setters have been doing an excellent job of really getting the ball out on not always perfect passes. The passes have been generally good, but we've seen Maddie Yu and Rihanna Liu have to run around a lot to keep it alive and still manage to get some decent hits off. I'm really interested in the strategy from Bowdoin coach Aaron Cady. I haven't really seen a 5-1 where you rotate your setter in the front row and back row, but I think it's a really interesting one, having a more aggressive offensive setter who can get better blocks like Shelley, and then having the more defensive, more experienced setter in the back row like Haugen is a really interesting take on it. Well, what are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
I mean, it's just what you said earlier. Just trying to change things up a little bit any way you can. In a situation right now where you're down 2-0, trying to find any momentum wherever possible, give the Jumbo defense a bit of a different look, always is something that Katie and the rest of the Bowdoin coaching staff is going to try to find. And so spicing it up a little bit, and it's worked so far. You know, even though Shelly not as prolific in terms of just raw assists on the season, has put up a really solid performance here in this third set.
As we said, it looks like Haugen might be in the front row at this point, continuing to play there instead of Shelly sending out. So they may not have chosen to stick with this strategy.
Haugen immediately gets an attempt. Another block by Chi, preventing Campau from getting that ball over the net. And Mittler was unable to get to that pass. Jumbos will now with a 4-point lead. Or sorry, make it 5.
Just want to note real quick, I think I was wrong on that. I think Haugen is still in the back row. She's just the rotation that she's in. She's standing further up, as you expect a setter to do in order to avoid getting a serve sent to her.
Goes right over to La Mendola, who has had a bit of a quieter third set, Jake, but I mean, if she can get right back and firing.
And now Haugen is in the front row, thus Shelly checks in. So they are continuing with that strategy. But yeah, as you mentioned, La Mendola hasn't necessarily been involved as the Polar Bears would have liked her to be in this third set, but when she does get involved, she makes herself very well known in the game with kills like that.
9 kills, 2 blocks, and 5 digs for La Mendola. You going over to Farragher on that right side, and they will rule that.
Net violation on Sky La Mendola. Unfortunate for the Polar Bear star player.
I saw the 4 fingers come up in the line ref, and I was a little confused because they only hit it 3 times, but it was on number 4, La Mendola.
Yeah, definitely confusing when the signs mix like that.
Shelly back in the game, finds La Mendola, but her shot will sail out of bounds. Again, the right side blockers, Farragher and Cunningham, really coming to the rescue on that play. La Mendola, another miscommunication there. DePonce Pinheiro was ready for that one, and Harrison thought that she had to save it. That ball sails out of bounds.
Harrison is generally the best defensive player for the Jumbos, so often when a ball she thinks she can get to, she tries to go for it. But now that DePonce Pinheiro's in, they have another really, really good defender in the court, so Harrison doesn't necessarily need to be the player at every moment.
Maddie Yu over to Claire Castor, right down the line. A nice dig by Keating. Over to Farragher now. It's partially blocked there by Campau and Janice, but still finding the Bowdoin side of the floor.
Yeah, great hit there from Riley Farragher to use the block, slide it off of it like that. Speaking of good passers, we also see Claire Castor, who has really been an extremely good defensive player for the Jumbos this season. Really also involve herself quite a lot.
Shelly goes over to the middle blocker in Campau, and that's another kill over to Campau.
The slide with Campau has been a really effective play for the Polar Bears, and in that case, the block wasn't quite set yet from Castor, and there's not much you can do when Campau is over the ball like that.
Lou goes right over to Heckman, goes with the left-handed attempt. This time, Janice's shot will sail out of bounds.
And that's been an unfortunate pattern for the Polar Bear squad, as that's, I believe, the 3rd or 4th hit this set that has sailed too far out of bounds. And when you're in a game as tight as this one, points like that really add up. The Jumbos established now a 6-point lead. Not looking good for the Polar Bears as they try to stay in this game.
Castor, one of the Jumbo's most dangerous servers. You can see already causing trouble for the Polar Bear defense. Cunningham on the tip. It's picked up by Janice. And they'll go to La Mendola on that back row. Castor tried to save it with a one-handed attempt, but Bowdoin will get right back in on the board.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to react when a play gets hit off the block like that, and it's so far over your head. Castor gives it a good shot, but unable to do it, as we see Haugen check back in to serve for the Polar Bears.
Blue over to Cunningham. It's partially blocked, and actually fully blocked, I should say, by Lang and Janice, who have become a big factor there on that left side.
Definitely, as the Jumbos try to run a slide that the Polar Bears have really utilized a lot. this time not working for them as the Polar Bears are very familiar with that play.
Haugen back to serve. She's re-entered the game. They go to Tori Golden, who goes for a bit of a push shot. Joust is won by Cunningham as the ball goes back into Bowdoin territory. Harrison has to run all the way to the net to try to pass that one. And the Polar Bears keep it alive. Right back to their middle and Lang. Tori Gold on the cross shot. This is an extended rally late in this third set. Heckman on a tip. A diving stop by White, but Cunningham will send it right back. Going right back to Janice. Liu is able to recover it. They'll go to Heckman on this right side. The tip is picked up by La Mendola. Down the middle. Saved once again by Liu. And they call a net violation on the Jumbos, and Bowdoin win the extended battle.
That was a crazy point. In the end there, Heckman thought she was going to set it. Cunningham kind of jumps in there trying to hit it over. Heckman forces a step out of the way. It runs into the net. Unfortunate. Kind of an anticlimactic way to end such an exciting point. But the Polar Bears will be happy with anything they can get at this point as they've drawn the lead down to 3 for the Jumbos.
And again, one of their best servers in Haugen back there. But as I say that, ball sails out of bounds, and the Jumbos inch themselves a little bit closer to that 3-set victory. Bowdoin's going to call another timeout. It's do or die right now for them. Taking a look around the NESCAC right now. Once again, honing back in on that Middlebury versus Trinity game. Middlebury up 5 points and up 2 sets to nothing late in the third. They're up 22-17 at this point. And remember, Jake, the winner of that one will claim the 2nd seed in the NESCAC unless Colby ends up coming out on top in their game against Amherst later today.
Yes, definitely going to be an interesting thing to watch in that Colby-Amherst game as large implications for the Jumbos' playoff hopes. They'd love to have that 3 seed where they can host here at Cousins, but if they do get that 4 seed in the case of Colby winning, they would still host the game at Cousins, just not necessarily have the bye that they'd be hoping for.
Yeah, and it's an extra day of rest, Saturday versus Sunday, and also if you are a top 3 seed, you will be playing against a team that already had to go through that earlier round, like that happened 2 days before. So a little bit extra travel there for the opposing team. If you can claim that top 3 seed, I think it definitely is a big advantage for that quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah, Bowdoin looking right now at possibly having the 9 seed. Not a position they'd love to have. That would lead to them having to play the game, as you mentioned, and then possibly having to face Wesleyan, the fearsome Cardinals in the first round, who have gone undefeated in the NESCAC play this season. Currently ranked, I believe, 15th in the country.
No libero in for the Jumbos off the timeout. See if Bowdoin is going to be able to respond. Cunningham with a set, and there's a reason she's not too experienced in that level of that style of play. She gets called for a double touch.
Yeah, you don't expect your middle to be your primary setter, but with Meg Harrison off and Rihanna Liu making the initial pass, they need someone to take it. Normally, it'd be Megan Harrison, but as Megan Harrison is off, Cunningham goes for it. But unfortunate for Cora Cunningham.
Another opportunity where Bowdoin answers with a point right off the timeout. Right to Chi, and Haugen will be unable to get to that one. 3 points away from this victory.
That was crazy. That perfect set there from Rihanna Liu, and Chi really just needs to hit it down, exactly what she does. Nothing you can do as a Polar Bear defense with a play executed as perfectly as that one.
To the middle and Lang, she finds her kill. The middle game working well, as it's now very much go time for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, Kim Powell checks in. She's been arguably the more prolific hitter of the 2 in the middle, but Lang recording a nice little tip there. They'll be looking for Kim Powell, especially in those slides. They really like to run with her.
Yu going over to Golden on that right side. It's dug out by White. And Kim Powell able to send it over, the ball sailing out of bounds off the block. And so the Jumbos will get that ball right back onto their side of the court with Golden back to serve.
Yeah, impressive adaptation there from the Jumbos. As Golden was hitting from the right side, they were still shifting back when the ball got hit over, but still Chi and Ferger able to get that block for them.
Midler finds herself a swing on the right side and just past the hands or tipping off the hands, I should say, of Castor, and falling will mean that it's still a 3-point game. Not out of this one just yet.
Yeah, we've got Shelley and Keating checking back in for the Polar Bears, as this is really a rotation. They need to get a string of points in if they want to stay in the set 23-20 at the moment.
Golden on the receive. Yu runs over to get it, and they'll send it over to Claire Castor, picked up here by Lindsay. Another violation call. That's maybe the 5th double touch that we've seen here in this 3rd set. It brings the Jumbos to match point.
Yeah, and that is one of the possible worries you'd have, bringing in another setter off the bench who's slightly cold, like Shelley is that the set could not work as well as they'd like it to. Unfortunate for Shelley there.
They'll look over to La Mandola. Golden will record a dig. Going over to Claire Castor. The shot is tipped but falling out of bounds, and the Jumbos will end this one 3-0. 25-20 is the final, and the Tufts women's volleyball team will wrap up their regular season with 5 straight conference victories.
It's a big play from the Jumbos there. Really been a bit more of a nervy 3rd set with some errors from both sides, but they managed to come out on top. It's been a great season so far, Andrew. Really enjoyed following the Jumbos so far. Hopefully we can see a home game, get to see another game here at Cousins, but yeah.
Yeah, some good momentum by the Jumbos. They were a team that, with a lot of young pieces, was expected to maybe start a little bit slower and really end this season strong. And you saw them even against some very tough opponents that are a lot of teams ranked in that top 25. They were able to play competitive matches at the beginning of the season, even though they didn't come out as wins. And after starting the NESCAC season 1-4, they come up with 5 straight victories, and I think have guaranteed themselves a pass out of that first play-in round.
And that's something that they love to have, because they're currently the reigning NESCAC champions. They're hoping to make a good run in this tournament in order to get an NCAA tournament berth. And having one last game is always a good thing in such a chaotic and uncertain atmosphere like an NESCAC tournament.
And we're not sure if we will be seeing the Tufts Jumbos here at Cousins once again. If they are the 4 seed, they will be playing here Saturday. If they are the 3 seed and Amherst comes away with a victory, they will be playing here on Sunday, November 5th. But this is the last time. It's been a pleasure to cover the Tufts volleyball team for the entire season over the last few years. Jake, pleasure to be on the mic with you once again. I'm sure there'll be many more incredible moments to come over the next couple of years. We're going to step aside for a short break, and we'll see if we got an interview on the other side.
underwater world. I'm gonna sing down under the water. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing down under the water. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing down under the water. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing down under the water. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing down under the water. Underwater world. I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna sing.
Welcome back to JumboCast. I'm joined here today with Riley Farragher, senior right side hitter for the Jumbos, as the Jumbos just got a 3-set win over Bowdoin. Going to this game, we really were looking at Sky Lamandola, the outside hitter for the Polar Bears, who's leading the SCAC in kills, but you really shut them down today. As a right side, did you guys have a specific plan to deal with the powerful outside hitters from Bowdoin, or was it more just normal strategy to shut her down?
Yeah, obviously she's really great competition. I think our first strategy was just to try and take her out of the play, either with the serve or targeting her with our offense. And then secondly, making sure we're just lining up really well so that we can give our defense the chance to play around.
Yeah, you really set up situations where it was hard for an outside hitter to get a good hit off, both with tough serves that forced the serve receive to be weak, so the setter wasn't able to get as good of a set out to her. Along with just setting the block really effectively. It was a great game from the blocking side of it.
Thanks.
Moving on to the general full season coming into this game, you've really picked up the form lately in the last couple weeks, coming off of a little bit of a NESCAC slide mid-season. You've gone on a win, I believe, 5 straight NESCAC games, going to the NESCAC playoff strong. How do you guys manage to change your mentality mid-season to come back and have such a powerful end to the season?
I think it's the same mentality. We're always trying to play our best, even against all these really great teams. I just think we've done a better job of executing it. We've really focused on the controllables, like our communication, our first contacts, the thing that we can always do on our side, and then just making sure we're putting ourselves in a really good position to always be bettering that ball, making the other team work for it a little more, trying to limit our errors. Definitely,
and the errors have definitely gone down, it seems like. There were very few service errors tonight, very few overall errors from your side. It's an excellent play from you all. Finally, NESCAC playoffs starting next week. We just saw Middlebury beat Trinity out in the other game, and that means it's likely you'll host Trinity here next Saturday unless Colby loses to Amherst. How are you all feeling going into the tournament? You beat Trinity, obviously, earlier this season. Should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I think we're super excited. I mean, we've kind of been saying, like, once we get into playoffs, it's a whole new mindset. You got to kind of reset. It's a brand new season. I think our momentum shift towards the end of the season has been huge, and we're really looking forward to carrying that through. Home game would be awesome and get some fans here, but I think we're ready to go wherever.
It's a great mentality to have. Well, thank you, Riley, for joining us for this interview, and that has been it from JumboCast. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you next week for a home volleyball game.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yep.